Hello and welcome to another video in the esped eStar training series. In this video today we're going to cover a multitude of things. I call them alternate IEP processes, something alternate to the annual ARD that you have every year. That would be a transfer ARD, a revision ARD, DNQ ARD, dismissal ARD, and an MDR. So bear with me, we're going to go through each one of those. As you can see, I'm on my student select screen. I'm going to select poor Billy BSS again by clicking on his name. Select the reason. I'm writing the student's IEP. Yes, this is the correct student. I'm getting ready to do a transfer ARD. So I'm going to click the screen drop down and I'm going to scroll down to Transfer Student Agreement to Implement 1. I'm going to put my date in here. It's my date of my transfer ARD. So let's say 8/20/2018. Date services will start that day. Parent requested communication in English, Spanish, other, whatever happens to be. If it's other than English, we would need an interpreter there. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to say English. A verification of previous services. This is where you're going to put in where you verified. Is it a Texas school, out-of-state school? That becomes very important if we don't accept the evaluation. Students' eligibility in former district was verified on 8/20/2018 by telephone, in writing, whatever is appropriate. If you got the last FIE and the ARD document, you would say it's in writing. You have that. Was it provided by the parent, the school? Did you call somebody? And if you did, who'd you talk to and what's their phone number? Documents received. If you received the IEP and the FIE, you say yes. If you didn't receive one of them, you say no. And you put the date, not the date that you got the FIE. It's the date of the FIE. So let's say that's the information you want to see. I don't want to see that the FIE date is the date the kid transferred, because that's not possible. They didn't do an FIE or an ARD meeting the day that the kid enrolled here in Pasadena. Determination of eligibility, you'll put information for parent or the former school indicates the student has a disability, what their disability condition is. If we're not accepting the evaluation, we're going to say evaluation is requested. This would take you to the notice of proposal to evaluate and evaluation consent that is needed. If you do that for a student who's transferring within the state of Texas, that FIE must be done by the time your 30-day, which is 30 school days, your 30-day permanent placement ARD takes place. If the student is out of state, it becomes an initial, follows the initial timeline. We have 45 school days to get that done. But you would do that, you would get your consent, indicate that there. Previous district instructional setting, this is what you're going to put. What were they? Were they a 40, 41, 42, 82, whatever it was in the previous district? You're going to put your description of services. This is where you're going to describe to me what the services were that we're matching here in Pasadena. Once I complete transportation or transfer student 1, then I go to transfer student 2. IEP from former district was reviewed, accepted, and will be implemented. That's saying I'm going to accept everything in full. I'm going to update everything. I'm not doing anything until the new annual ARD date. That is very rare. This one here is for out-of-state students. I've determined I need an evaluation. I would do that, and then I would follow initial timelines. If I select this and say that the student is in state, I'm accepting, or out of state, with where you accept the evaluation, you're accepting the IEP documents that you received, it generates when your permanent placement, your 30-day annual ARD is due. Please don't try to make this up yourself. Please don't try to change it. It generates it for you based on our school calendar. Once again, you've got another place where you can type in your minutes. If you're pushing the date for state assessment, it's coming up before your 30-day annual ARD. You would discuss what the previous district decided and what we would do for state assessment. Your schedule of services is required. So you would click this blue Go To button. It's going to take me to my schedule of services page. I'm going to click Next, and I'm going to enter the schedule that the child has. Once I've done that, and that's not in the previous district, we're going to match it to the best of our ability, so I'm going to put what our schedule would look like here in Pasadena. Once I've done that, I click return. Takes me back to that screen. I must complete all PEMS elements. If they have a primary disability, pencil paper icon, I enter that. If they have secondary and tertiary, I enter that as well. I must also do instructional setting, speech therapy services, child count funding, etc. Okay? I can't do a transfer ARD and then say that I'm going to do the PEMS element and I'm going to address it at the 30-day annual ARD. I see that quite a bit. That's not appropriate. The day we start serving the kid, which is when we get consent from the parent after this transfer ARD, is when I have to have all my PEMS elements in place. I'll click this transfer student agreement to implement report. It's going to tell me if I've put accommodations in here, I want that to print. If I've put my schedule of services, I want that to print. If there's a behavior plan, I want that to print. I'm going to save it and close window. To add people to sign, I'm going to click new. I'm going to put their name, their position, and the date. So we'll go ahead and do that just so you can see what it looks like. I'll say James Frost. For these purposes, I'm going to be an LSSP. And the date of the ARD. So if I click this, once I put them in, I can click and then I'll sign. And yes, I need occupational therapy. That now my name is here and I've signed it. I can use this as my transfer ARD. Consent for provision of services, check yes, because we want to get that just so that we make sure we have a consent for provision of special ed services if we didn't receive it from the previous district in Texas or if the kid's from out of district. Once I've done that, I've completed my transfer ARD. I'm good to go. Another thing that you would do is a DNQ ARD, okay? So you'll come in, I'm going to go back out to students. I'm going to pick on a different kid. I'm going to go into Brian One Fake at South Houston Elementary. I'm writing the student's IEP. So student information. So let's say this is a DNQ ARD. The kid has not qualified. The kid was originally referred. Kid did not qualify for special ed services. So I'm going to come in here just like I would any other ARD. I'm going to put date of meeting is 8/20/2018. It's an annual review. I don't want to update the date because there won't be a date here because the kid's going to DNQ, right? I'll change this reason for meeting. It's still an initial. Duration of SPED services will be blank because the kid doesn't qualify. If I had to interpret whatever it is, I'd put it in there. The FIE date is whatever date this is. I'll take this out because he's not going to have a 3-year reeval. I'm going to come in on this page here, check whatever's appropriate here. Based on this, we're going to say either he does not meet eligibility criteria for one, or I could say he does have criteria but he doesn't have educational need. So I would say no and then say he doesn't qualify. There would be no PEMS elements here, okay? So you wouldn't be required to put any PEMS elements in. The kid's going to be a DNQ. Once I've done that, those 2 pages, I'll scroll down to Placement of Services 2. I check to exclude assurances. We're not assuring them because they don't qualify for special ed services, right? So then I go to Access and Destruction of Records. We'll keep a copy of this DNQ ARD in the evaluation where the kid didn't qualify for 5 years past the date of service. Then I'll go to Next. This is what I did. I'll put my deliberations in there. Please be detailed that the student was evaluated, didn't qualify, the discussion that happened in the meeting. I'll click Next. I've got my signature page that I would complete, right? And then my prior written notice that I would complete as well. Then my end of ARD stuff. Did I agree, yes or no? We don't need the waiver for notice to provide services because the kid did not qualify. You would say this is an initial provision of services. You would say no, but you would still put your initial ARD date because it's an initial DNQ, okay? and ignore that because the dates are off there, okay? So when I do that, then I come in and I do reports to generate my report, and I'm going to do the one, let me see if I find it. Yeah, does not qualify, and click create. What that will do, I've got auto refresh turned on my thing. I click view when it says done. It just prints the first page, the assurances, signatures, prior written notice, and the end of it. I don't need all that other stuff because the child didn't qualify, okay? If you have any questions regarding that, always feel free to give me a call. I'm going to close, and now I'm going to go to a revision ARD, okay? Revision ARD, I'm going to pick on another student, click my student tab to navigate back out. I'm going to pick Gina 1 fake. I'm writing the student's IEP. So I've had an annual ARD, but let's say I'm coming back because I need to address goals, objectives that aren't appropriate. Something's changed with the PLAFs. I'm going to scroll down to Revision ARD 1. I'm going to put the date of the meeting. Let's say this is 8/27/2018. It's a revision ARD. Do I need an interpreter? Yes or no? If I do, what language is it? The ARD committee met to modify the committee report dated 4/10/2018, okay? So, do I need to change the PLAFs? If I say no, that I don't need to change the present levels of performance, I'm good. If I say yes, I could either click this box and say, or click this radio button and say yes, click this blue button, it'll take me to my PLAF screen, and I could adjust it there. If it's a very quick, simple thing, I could say yes here, click this paper icon, and type out what my new PLAFs are, okay? Once I've done that, I click next. Then I go through and answer the questions. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the goals and objectives? Yes or no? If I say yes, go to my measurable annual goals, make my changes, and proceed to come back to this page. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the students' accommodations? Yes or no? If yes, go to the accommodations page and update. Is the committee conducting a manifestation determination review? Yes or no? If you say yes, go to this page. I'll show you that in a minute when we do an MDR here in this video. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the students' behavior intervention plan? If I say yes, I'm gonna say yes, and remember, these don't work. We use the functional behavior plan. So you click this blue arrow, go change the student's behavior plan, get back to this page. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the student's schedule of services? Yes or no? If you say yes, please go to the R11 schedule of services page by clicking this blue go to button. Unless you're looking at LRE as well, we don't use the R20 schedule of services page. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the student's transportation supplement? Yes or no? If you say yes, click this blue go to button, change your transportation supplement, hit return, and come back to this page. Is the ARD committee considering changes to the student's participation in state district assessment? Yes or no? If you say yes, click this button. It's going to take you to your state and district required assessment considerations page. Okay? There's a revision ARD reports button. I'll click that, and I'll say I want to include accommodations. If whatever I changed, I would click, and I want to include the signature page because I'm going to go use the regular signature page, right? I'm going to click my placement determination. Has it changed? Did my instructional setting change? My deliberations go in here. I want to make sure my attachments are here. If I did an MDR, if I addressed ESY in a revision, behavior plan, whatever it happens to be. Then I want to go to my assurances page, okay? I assure them yes every time because the kids in special ed, I'm just revising their plan. Then I click next, could give them access to destruction of records. Here's my review of decisions. I don't need deliberations because I already have it, but I do need the signature page. I would click clear signatures, type in the person's name, get their signature, agree or disagree with the revision that we just made. Okay? I would also do my prior written notice for that revision so that it goes home with the parent, and then I'm done. Okay? That is a revision ARD. Now I'm going to go to Since we just saw it on this page, I'm going to go to an MDR. Okay, an MDR is done the same way that a revision art is done. I go in and I come to revision art 1. If I need to change the PLAFs based on the MDR for the behavior for the child, I would do so. If not, I say no. I click next. If I'm changing anything as far as goals and objectives, behavior plan, schedule of services, anything that I need to address because of this behavior, I would click yes, click those blue go to buttons, and do so. The one thing that I have to do in an MDR is the art committee conducting an MDR. I say yes, click my blue go to button. It takes me to my MDR screen. I want to check so that it's printed with my paperwork. The date of the MDR. Describe the behavior subject to the disciplinary action. Types of information. Do I have evaluation and diagnostic results, information from parents, observations, students, IEP and placement, and any other relevant information? If I check it here, please click this paper icon and specify and explain to me what exactly you found. Manifestation determination, you have to answer those two questions. The conduct in question was caused by or had a direct and substantial relationship to the child's disability, yes or no. Second question being the conduct in question was the direct result of the local education agency's failure to implement the IEP, yes or no. You can also put notes in here. You could type notes away as far as the MDR. Once I've done that MDR piece, I come back in, I click return, I get back to my screen, I make any adjustments to my behavior plan, my schedule, transportation, anything that needs to be done. Click my revision art reports. I did an MDR, so I'm going to make sure manifestation determination is clicked. I'm going to save it, close it. I'm going to go to my assurances page again because I need my signature page, right? I'm going to say yes, we provide assurances, access to destruction of records information, deliberations and stuff which I don't need. My signature page. So I'm going to go in once again, put the names of the people who are there at the MDR. I'm going to click to sign, agree or disagree. Then I'm going to do a prior written notice for what's changed and what we discussed in this revision ARD. Generate my revision ARD with checked options, things like that in reports. If you have any questions on that, once again, feel free to give me a call. Look in your handbook section regarding discipline. It talks about the MDR process and what's required there. The last type of alternate IEP process that we really have is a dismissal ARD, okay? So the kid's been in special ed. We've done a reevaluation. Based on our reevaluation data, the kid does no longer qualify for special ed services, right? So I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick one kid. We'll pick LF Smith fake, why not? I'm going to go in, I'm writing the student's IEP. Okay, so really crucial on this dismissal ARD. The kid has been in special ed, so it's very much like a DNQ ARD. I'm going to go to beginning of ARD. I'm going to put date of meeting is 8/8, or let's actually do 8/20/2018. I'm going to say the reason for meeting is dismissal. I don't need a current annual review date or a annual review due date. I won't have any more services. I addressed the language that it was done in if I need an interpreter. The evaluation date, let's say it was 6/30/2018. He's not going to need another one because he didn't qualify. This is left blank. I could put my deliberations in here and be detailed that the kid no longer qualifies. I'm going to click next, put the information in here that's needed, and I'm going to say either does not have a disability condition or does not meet disability criteria, or they do. Let's just for simplicity's sake say they don't. So they've got all this PEMS data, right? You could go in one by one and clear out all their PEMS data, but that's working way too hard, I promise you. So I'm going to go through here. I've done these two. I go to, if I can find it, my placement services 2 screen. I don't give assurances because the kid's not qualifying. I could give my access to destruction of records. Here's where my deliberations are. Again, I check that, make sure it's correct. Click next. Here's my signature page. I obtain my signatures. Do my prior written notice saying that the kid's no longer going to qualify based on evaluation data. I say yes, that we've mutually agreed. I don't need the waiver for 5 days to provide services, and I don't need the initial provision of services information. I've completed my ARD. I would then generate my does not qualify like I did for my DNQ ARD. However, there's one more step. When I have a dismissal because the kid's been receiving special ed services, I need to come back in and I need to go to enrollment dates. The kid no longer qualified, right? So I'm going to say 8/20/18, they were dismissed. Add dismissal reason. I've already got no longer meets eligibility criteria. It's going to be blank. I would just click add, save it. Then it's really important that I click terminate all services. And I change this to dismissed. Once I do that and I archive it and send it home, I am done. The kid will no longer have any PEMS data. You won't get any data quality reports. If you don't do this final step here, you'll end up with data quality reports. You'll be calling me. I dismissed the kid. I don't understand why he's still showing up. Please help me. That is our alternate IEP processes. If you have any questions, feel free, like I always say, give me a call, 713-740-0953. If you want to send me an email, it's jfrost, that's JFROST, at pasadenaisd.org. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.